Hey everyone, it's Jennifer with DP Addiction Adventures. I am so glad to be back, and I hope you enjoy this drill with me. I am working on finally back at my craft desk, and I'm working on this. Let's see here. Cute little person. It's a little gorgeous girl with a penguin underneath her. I can't find, I haven't been down here at my desk in so long that I'm having trouble finding my photocopy. So I'm just going to wing it, and luckily I label all my little containers so that I can look up and see. So we have a couple here, and let's dive in. So I have had a lot of requests based off of a comment I made, probably 10 or so videos ago about doing, everyone liked my idea of, oops, wrong side. This side didn't have any wax in it. That would have been a problem. So everybody that heard the video, I shouldn't say everybody, many people commented on my phrase of talking about a marriage little series, so to speak, a mini series. I know I did a mini series on my most embarrassing moments. I will put right here in the eye the first video, and then you can take it from there. Everybody knows how to find videos after that. Just look at my channel. They're all labeled. It's within the same week or two I posted, and they all look the same for my most embarrassing moments. So I thought I could do from a therapist perspective and from being married, combining the two and doing kind of thoughts and ponderings on why it might be difficult sometimes for significant others, partners, marriage, opposite genders to get along. And I first want to start out by saying, besides anatomy, we truly in our minds are built differently. And when I read this, now granted, I have not researched what I'm about to say. I read it in grad school, which was about 10 years ago. And so it is true what I'm going to say, but I don't know all the details, so I am going to talk in vagueness because I don't want to give you an untruth. Does that make sense? So hopefully you'll bear with me and maybe go do research on your own. So, number one, most men, okay, this is in general, I'm not trying to stereotype, it is a scientific proven fact that most men are born, well, we're all born with a left and right brain, okay? And let's start out there. As humans, we are born with a left side and a right side of our brain. And the left side, I believe, is the side that is more logic-minded. So that's where our language is. That's where we mathematically think. That's where we process and bring reason to the situations, is from the left side of our brain, okay? Now the right side of our brain is more artistic. That is where vision is held, where we see, not actually held, vision's in the back of our head, but like where in our mind's eye we see color, we hear music, that's where all of that's processed. And so that's why a lot of times you'll hear, accountants are left-brained and artists are right-brained, or you're using a certain side of your brain. That's where those phrases come from, okay? So, in order for us to think holistically, the left and the right brain talk to each other back and forth, okay? So you have a neuron here and a neuron here, and they're firing back and forth like crazy. More electricity runs through our brain than we could ever imagine. I don't have the statistics, but they're unbelievably off the charts. You know, I've heard crazy things like we could power a house with the amount of electricity that our brain creates in thinking. You know, we're talking billions of neuron firings a day. So all that to say, so that's the foundation of this little drill with me, is left and right brain, right? Well, men think very, not parallel, they think back and forth. So, and of course this is happening in like 1/100th, 1/1000th nanoseconds, whatever you want to call it. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth as they're processing. Okay, so if they have an argument at home, or the plumbing dies, or something happens that's small, big, medium, large type of situation, trauma, whatever you want to call it, at home, they are able to kind of put it on the back burner and go to work and compartmentalize. This is most men, okay? And women get very upset about this, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So they're able to remove a lot of emotion from the trauma because they can think back and forth. Like, that's how they think. They don't think within the left brain or within the right brain. They think left to right, left to right, left to right. And so they are able to process and then put aside, process and then put aside. Women, on the other hand, and I'll give you my theory as to why. Now, it could be scientific. I could have heard this at some time, but, or it could just be my own theory of putting two and two together. Okay? Don't nail me to the wall over this. Women are born, again, left and right brain, but we can think within the left brain and within the right brain and left and right all at the same time. And that's why the term scatterbrain comes into play sometimes that people say about women, because scientifically our brains think and respond differently. So if the plumbing goes out, or we get in an argument with our children and then have to go to work, it's very hard for us to put something on the back burner, because as we're processing, we're also thinking about it over here or thinking about it over here, and it's like a tape recorder. Is everyone old enough to know what a tape recorder is? So sad that I have to think that way, right? But it's like a video player or a tape recorder playing constantly in the back of our brain of, you know, is the toilet still leaking? You know, my kid forgot his lunch. When I get home, is my husband still going to be mad? All the while they're at work, or they're running errands, or they're at school with the kids trying to, you know, volunteer, whatever your day may look like as a woman. And so that's why I myself believe I get mad sometimes at my husband, because I'm like, why aren't you more upset about this situation? Why am I the one having an anxiety attack or being frustrated that we have this bill due and we have no money, or the toilet just exploded, or, you know, somebody's in the hospital? Why are you so calm about it? Well, the reality is they're just as frustrated many times, or as upset, but their brain processes that differently. And so it's hard for the man to understand what the woman's thinking, of course, because they're not in our shoes. They don't think how we think, you know, even if we try to explain it. And the woman is upset because she doesn't understand how the man thinks, right? And so you put these two people and how they think differently together. And if you don't give each other the benefit of the doubt, okay, so you guys, when you got married or you started dating or you made a commitment to each other, basically we're saying there's something about you that I love, I care about, I trust. And when you come together, sometimes we forget to give each other the benefit of the doubt. You know, your best friend is not a hater. That person is not there. Now, I'm talking about true caring. I'm not talking about complete jerks on either side of the genders. I'm talking about real, okay? But that person did not on purpose forget to put gas in the car. That person did not on purpose, leave the toilet seat up or not pay a bill or, got let go from work or whatever the case may be. And many times we neglect to give our better half or our best friend the benefit of the doubt so that we can sit and talk and try to understand the other side of the story, right? And so this happens a lot with my husband and I because we think completely different. So we might have a problem and have to get from point A to point, B, and his way is, down, maybe a down V, and my way is an up V. We both can get to point B different ways, and they're both correct. But if we don't give each other the benefit of the doubt, instead of both being correct and honoring the differences of how unique we are and how we think, we say that person's wrong or that person's right, or why do you always have to be right? Why do I always have to have the final say? And it just spirals out of control from there. And I will admit, I'm that person. I get frustrated and flustered because it's not that I want to be right, it's that I want to be heard. Does that make sense? I just want my spouse to acknowledge that I am intelligent in some areas, or I do have a perspective that's worth hearing. And if we don't give our spouse the benefit of the doubt to say, you know what, let me stop, let me hear what you have to say, let me try to think your way, or, that's a lot of times when my husband and I get in trouble, okay? So I may be giving him an opinion that, have you tried this? And he then gets upset. Well, of course, why wouldn't I have thought of that? Am I stupid? Am I dumb? Well, I was just verbally processing out loud because that's the way I think as a person. And if he were to give me the benefit of the doubt that I'm not correcting him, that I'm just communicating my brain thoughts, then he may not feel as attacked and he may feel more respected and say, what if he came back, gave me the benefit of the doubt and said, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm thinking this way, so I'm going to try it because I'm already, headed in that direction. But if it doesn't work, let's try it that way. And that would take a lot of the bite out of my husband and I. And how we do not do home improvement projects together at all because of this. Because we just decided that we love each other too much and we're going to agree to disagree. And I think we put down the carpet here in our family room / basement room floor together. We've painted rooms together. We've replaced a couple toilets together. We've, helped fix some of the electrical work. And it finally just got to the point of everything we did ended up in an argument. And at the end of the day, the argument was not you're doing something right or wrong. It's you're not listening to me. I want to be part of this. I want to contribute. And it turned into you just think I'm wrong all the time, and that's not the case. So we understand that we think differently, and I end up just, if he needs my help, I just keep my mouth shut and go just wait for him to ask for help, because I know that his mind works differently than mine, and if I try to interject my thoughts, number one, I'm going to fluster him because they're not the same as his. So then his mind isn't focused anymore on what he's doing. And, that's just how we all work. Think about when you get interrupted, your mind loses focus. Number two, he and I think totally different. So to sit there and try to convince him that, this, my way might be strategic, or let's try this, or it's not my way, it's just a way that I'm suggesting, and vice versa. This isn't all about I'm right and he's wrong. I mean, I do the same exact thing back to him. So I say all this from being married and being a therapist, is the next time you want to open your mouth and have a abnormal discussion, I don't know what to call it, not a fight, but just an intense thought process, kind of think about, number one is, am I giving my significant other the benefit of the doubt? Number two, am I handling it in a more calm manner? So it's not right or wrong, my way, your way, but just a way. And think about the differences in how we think. If our spouse or significant other gets upset, think about, why were they upset? Maybe it's because they felt they were disrespected, even though we didn't disrespect them. Because another saying that I, have picked up on from a couple people is, their perception is your reality. So even if you know that you're safe and that you love that person and you support that person, if their perception is that you do not, that's the reality you're living in, because you can't control their perception. You can only control your actions and your responses. So, piggybacking on that thought of the differences between men and women and how we think, there's also differences in how we can love each other. I don't know how many people have heard of it, and it is a religious perspective, the book I'm talking about, but I want to give credit where credit is due. But I think there's a lot of scientific truth to it. It's called The 5 Love Languages, is the book. And in the book, the author, and I'll put it down in the description because I get him mixed up with another author and I don't want to give you the wrong one. But he did a lot of research and came up that every human being feels loved in one or more of 5 general areas. Okay, and those are our love languages. So one area is in time. So you feel loved if somebody spends time with you. If they just sit with you, if they play games with you, if they read with you, whatever it may be, going on a hike, just spending time. Another one is affirmation. So words of affirmation. You feel loved and encouraged when somebody verbally or in writing supports you. You're doing a great job. You are succeeding, or you're a great person. You can tell my love language is not words of affirmation because it's hard for me to think of any right now. So, sorry, this diamond painting is during the Huacan custom popping. And so I just get worried because right now I'm in a confetti area that they're going to start popping on me as I put more and more in. So we'll see how it goes. So words of affirmation. I care about you. Thank you for doing the dishes. Thank you for doing the laundry. Great job. Keep it up. I love you, those kind of things. Then you've got service, acts of service. So somebody feels loved when their significant other or family members or friends, I mean, doesn't have to even just be marriage, or even kids feel loved this way, is if you do something for somebody. You know, if you go and do the laundry or the dishes or wash the car or make lunch without being asked, those kind of things, acts of service. Then you've got gifts, okay? So people feel loved by giving gifts or receiving gifts, okay? And I always leave out one. Let me see, those are 4. So you've got gifts, service, time, affirmation. Oh, physical touch, okay? And that doesn't necessarily mean intimacy. It could be holding hands, it could be brushing hair, it could be patting somebody on the back. It's not sexual. It can be, but it's not what that technically means. So, those are the 5 love languages. And if you get somebody, you know, you're married or you're a boyfriend or even in family members, excuse me, who have different love languages, sometimes you end up not feeling loved even though the person is loving you to death. And I'll give you an example. So one of my love languages is time, spending time, okay? I love it if my husband just sits next to me and we can be doing totally different things. I mean, we could be on our phones, we could be reading, I could be playing a game with my daughter and he's sitting next to me, whatever it may be. His way of feeling loved is acts of service, okay? So if I clean the kitchen or vacuum or fill up the gas tank as a surprise or clean the bathroom or take the dog out, whatever it may be, cook dinner, not slave, just out of love, then he feels loved. Now, this book, which I believe is true because I've seen it in action, I felt it myself, is we love others as we want to feel loved. So if his love language is acts of service, he will be in the kitchen doing the dishes and he does the laundry and he helps remind our daughter to vacuum and he fills up the gas tank and he's thinking he's loving me with all his heart by doing these acts of service. But I am not receiving it with that much love because that's not how I feel loved. Okay? He's washing the dishes. I'm then sitting in the living room waiting for him to sit with me. So his mind thinks, oh, Jennifer doesn't love me. Well, not really, but like Jennifer isn't showing me love because she's not here in the kitchen helping me with the dishes. Okay? I'm sitting in the living room thinking my husband isn't loving me as he should because he's off doing something else and not sitting with me. So I'm trying to love him through my love language of spending time with him. And he's trying to love me through his love language of acts of service. And in the end, we both get flustered and frustrated because he does not feel loved, even though I'm trying to love him with all my heart. And I do not feel loved, even though he's doing everything in the world to serve me unconditionally. So when you understand what your love language is and you have that conversation with your spouse or family member, you know, my daughter or my parents or whatever it may be, you can then have a target, a place to have a conversation and say, you know what, I don't feel loved, but I believe this is how I need to feel loved. And then you can have that conversation. And many times, I mean, sometimes once a week, my husband and I have to reset and say, hey, you know what, we need to get back on track. like tonight I came home and the sink was piled with dishes, and my husband's been really ill. And so I came home from a long day at work, but I had stopped and we splurged and got some meat for steak because he's been craving steak, but we don't have the funds to go out. And so they were having a sale, and I bought some. And so I came home, and the dishes were everywhere, and he and my daughter, because my daughter's on Christmas break right now, were doing a project together. And I did the dishes, cleaned the kitchen, marinated the steaks, got the, food ready. And that was my way of loving him, because I felt like it was acts of service, right? And so, but I also have to know to speak up. He can't read my mind. And so if I don't start feeling stop feeling loved, I mean, there's been times where I'm like, hey, you know what? Can you just stop what you're doing and come sit with me? Because right now I just feel like we're not on the same page. Like I just feel distanced from you. And can you just spend some time with me? And so we'll sit and we'll talk, or play a game, or we both read different books, or whatever it may be. And then I feel like my love tank is filled. Like I feel, okay, now I can, and that goes back to then the brain differences of, now that my love tank is filled, I am more apt to fill his love tank, and then I'm more apt to have more patience to think through the fact that we think differently, okay? So marriage is a commitment and a choice, and this is not meant to be marriage therapy. This is how people work. So, I mean, this is something even in the workforce you can use with your boss, or with people in the office. How do they feel respected and appreciated, so that you can have more, community. Oh, that one's too small. It's gonna bug me. You can have a better work relationship. So this is not just about marriage. This is about humans, men and women, the differences between us all. But it just so happens that in the man-woman relationship, you can see it more clearly. So that's my little take on, that's series 1 on how men and women think differently. And that's truly why the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus was a big hit, because I never read it, but I'm sure it has stuff in it about how perspectives are different, thoughts are different, things like that. But this is my take after years of reading other material in grad school and being a therapist. Right now I'm trying to do marital therapy with this one couple, but the wife doesn't feel safe in front of the husband, so I'm not able to do it with them in the same room. But I also can't, with confidentiality, once the wife talks and then I see the husband, I can't be like, well, your wife said blah, 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 blah. I can't. That would be horrible. I would lose my license, right? And it wouldn't get me anywhere. So it's like the blind leading the blind. I mean, I know the situation. I know the things that he has to work on. I know the things she has to work on. But I can't share them because I don't have permission to share them. And the one time I did get them in the same room together, he told the truth, but she lied because she didn't feel safe to tell the truth, because she thought that he would lash out at her. And not physically, but just, the silent treatment or anger and different things like that. So that got me thinking about doing a small marriage series and talking about my husband and my journey. And I do know that we really do not do home improvement projects because they end up literally in a fight. I mean, we've been married over 15 years. It was 15 years, September 2018. And we still cannot do a home improvement project without a fight. So we just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold back anymore. So that's what I have to say on this subject. So yeah, this kind of looks like a snowflake. Up close, it doesn't. It literally looks like just a ball of white. But from a distance through the viewfinder, it's looking like a snowflake. So yeah, so what is your opinion? Like, tell me down in the comments what your, experience is. Do you have a love language? How do you feel loved? Can you think of maybe a sixth love language? I haven't been able to think of one and I've been thinking about it for years. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you and get your perspective on it as far as that's concerned. So yeah. So I will probably do another marriage series later this weekend. I'll make sure to keep you guys posted. If you want to know when that's coming up, hit the little bell down below. I do have a couple other videos to do as well. I have a couple unboxings and yeah, I have a couple things from the 11/11 sale that I've received a while ago, but just from being ill didn't have time to unbox. So I'm looking forward to that video going out soon, and we'll take it from there. So I hope you have had a wonderful week. When I'm making this video, it's Friday night. I'm so glad my week is over. It was a short week because of the holiday. But sometimes I think a short week ends up being long because you're not used to quite working. And you're trying to fit, 40 hours worth of work in a 3-day period. And sometimes that can get a little dicey, but it was a pretty good week. And I'm feeling much, much better, so that's exciting. I have 2 soccer games to go to. My daughter's playing 2 games this weekend. One of the games, the place we go to is like 30 minutes away, and she has to be there 30 minutes ahead of time, and I think it's a 9 a.m. game, so that means that she has to be there by 8:30, which means we have to leave the house by 8, which means on a Saturday, I have to get up at 7. And so I just keep going, telling her, I love you. Mommy does not like getting up early. I am a night owl. And so she's been reminding me last night and tonight. And every time she thinks of it, don't forget, Mom, we have to get up early tomorrow. Like, yes, thank you for being the responsible one. Yes, I promise I will be up, I will be showered, I will get you to the soccer game on time. She's a lot like me where she needs to be on time for everything. I think the reason it's so hard for me to be late to anything is because growing up, we were late to everything because of my parents. And I'm not faulting them. My memory, which is me from a child's perspective, was that we started getting ready later than we should have. And we only had 1 bathroom for 4 people to get ready. I know, first world problem. But with my sister, myself, my mom, and my dad in 1 bathroom. And we were late to everything. Every single thing, like youth group, church, soccer games, practices, you name it, we were late to it. And I just hated that. And so when I was able to be in control of when I got someplace, I really try not to be super early, because sometimes that's just, people are still cleaning their houses, or, just different things like that. But I try to be about 5 minutes early to things. And when I'm late, I have a small anxiety attack. So that means that's not good. And what I mean by anxiety attack is my heart races, I get angered very easily, I'm kind of in a bad mood because we're late, different things like that. So I think my daughter has either inherited that or learned it, depending on if you're a nature versus nurture person, whatever it may be, but she is the same way. And so I have gotten a lot better. There's still times when I get that way, but life is what it is, and sometimes you can't help it. Red lights are red lights, or broken down cars, or crashes, or different things like that. And I've gotten a lot better. But I have a feeling she's following in Mommy's footsteps. So we have to work on that a little bit. Yeah, so that's what we have this weekend, and I hope to do a lot of diamond painting and some videos. I hope to work on my portfolio more. I need to get a little bit whiter washi tape for some of my paintings, because I bought thin washi tape and it looks beautiful, but it doesn't hold down, like when I cut this part, so it's just barely showing the white. I need this thick of a washi tape. I can't use thin washi tape. I'll show you. So like I bought these, okay, and they're gorgeous, but I need it to be a little bit thicker. I think this is the thinnest I can go. You can see a little bit of the difference. Okay, so this is the thinnest I can go. This is a little too thin because there's not enough sticky on both the canvas and the black paper in my portfolio. And so it's popping off, and so I need to go get some of these colors, like more of the peaches, because I have a lot of blues and greens and stuff, but I need to go and get a couple more washi tapes to be able to use in my portfolio. So I'm excited to do that maybe this weekend. Maybe I'll show you what I got as far as that's concerned. Let me think what else. My blue tree painting, which I think I showed a little bit earlier in a video, is almost done. I have a small strip, maybe about that big, maybe 2 to 3 inches at the top, left to do. And then I have this one at my craft table, and then I'm not sure which one I want to do next. I have a lot to choose from. I think I want to do one of my diamond art clubs, because I want to experience the richness of the canvas. I want to experience the quality of the drills and be able just to give a really solid review. And I'm really excited about that. So I think that may be what I do next, is a diamond art club. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 diamond art clubs to choose from. I'm going to do a poll of which one do you guys want me to work on. So let me put this away and let me show you which ones I have, and then you can help me. Okay, so it's easier just to show you on the box. So the first one I have is this little light of mine. Okay, and I did a video on that. The next one I have is one little bite. Okay. The next one, let me see if I can find the box. Otherwise, I'll pull out the whole painting. My craft area is a nightmare right now because I haven't been down here really since my husband was in the hospital. So, this one, Tell Me Stories. Okay, so it's a goldfish, all that fun stuff. All right, so that's the third one. And the fourth one, I haven't even done an unboxing. So, I'm going to pull it out of the box on this video, so it's part of the pull, but then I'll do an unboxing. Bear with me, I'm coming. See, I'm trying to be flexible. I don't have everything planned. So, I will explain in my unboxing how I received this one. But I did receive this Diamond Art Club. And as you can tell, I'm really into this particular artist. I was trying to see if her name is on here. So, I was asked to choose as a thank you a Diamond Art Club. And this is the picture. Off to Neverland. So I don't know if you can see that really well. Sorry, guys. Basically, it looks like it's Wendy reaching out to Peter Pan, and the colors are beautiful. And what I'm wondering, because look at the difference, I'm wondering if, because they contacted me and said because I had bought some Diamond Art Clubs as a thank you, like a Christmas, I don't know if it was a Christmas gift or a thank you, they wanted to send me one of my choice. And so I chose this one, and I'm wondering if it's because they have a new box and all that fun stuff. So I will be doing an unboxing of this. Yeah, and give you an update. So I will put a poll up in the corner. And let me know, Off to Neverland, One Little Bite, This Little Light of Mine, or Tell Me Stories, okay? None of these are kitted up, so it would be from scratch, and it would be my next one that I work on. So I'm super excited, but I want you guys to help pick for me what I work on next. So then I will only have 2 going on at the same time. I will have my Diamond Art Club, and I will have my custom Huacan Gorgeous Girl. Okay, so thank you so much for hanging in with a drill with me and my marriage series. And I hope to chat with you soon and discuss what we do next. If you have anything you want me to talk about in regards to marriage, or what Tim and I have, learned or gone through, there's a lot we've gone through. I think we've fit probably 50 years of marriage plus in a 15-year period. I mean, it's a big deal. We've gone through, cancer. We've gone through parents with dementia. We've gone through, marital issues I'm not going to go into for privacy. We've gone through, as I talked about in one of my videos, infertility and miscarriages. We have gone through hospitalizations, broken bones. We've gone through debt. We've gone through just a lot. And that's not even scratching the surface. So, yeah, feel free to ask any questions, and I'll be more than happy to give my thoughts and my perspective. So until we meet again, check out the poll. Let me know which one you want me to do. And I can't wait to chat with you soon. Take care. Have a good night.